Hello everyone, this is part 41 of What If Naruto Learned the Secret of Shadow Clone, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Life had been going pretty well for Hatake Kakashi. His team grew stronger by the day and his former student was a Cajun leading a nation. More recently he had found love and was even considering finally settling down and enjoying a new lease on life. Finally able to focus on the future and not his dark and blood-filled past, the scared but determined Leaf Village Jonin had a new and improved outlook on life. Things were well and truly looking up for him. Dodging away from a blast of dark energy that easily melted through a stone pillar and reduced it to molten slag and lava, Kakashi was wondering if maybe he was under some curse that afflicted him when he began to be happy. Why was he fighting against some dictator with Nei legendary powers bent on taking over the world? This was Naruto's job, not his. If he lived through this he was spending a week laid up with Shizune after this. A quick substitution with a loose stone saved him from another attack from the cackling Shino, and Kakashi focused fully back on his battle. You're making a wreck of your fortress here. It'll all be restored with time. Time that I will have plenty of once I kill you. Deciding distance wasn't helping him any, Shino dashed into close ranks and beat the heterochromic ninja into the floor with his own hands. Kakashi is the more seasoned ninja of the pair, and easily keeps just out of range and dodges away from the black and red energy attacks. Hold still. Yeah number. I choose life. Blocking a front kick by crossing his arms over his chest, Kakashi is sent away towards a far wall and grins at the distance made between then again until he sees Shino charging up another even more massive blast attack. Shit. Pinwheel eye blazing, Kakashi gathers his chakra just as the attack is launched. Kamui. While no amount of training was helping speed up his Mangekyo Sharingan, at the least it wouldn't drain him to use it a few times. Dark chakra disappearing as if it wasn't there, Shino is left stunned as the rift in space between them closed with an audible tearing sound. Kakashi had a way to counter his larger and more powerful attacks then did he? Fine, he could keep this close and personal then. Dashing in once more, Shino was all grins, so this is interesting. Want to clue me in on how you did that? A massive fist crashed into the ground where Kakashi had been standing, a crater forming and loose rocks tumbling through the air. No respite here however, Kakashi is again forced to block and evade as Shino went on a fast and ferocious attack pattern fueled by the Zero Tails chakra. I could give you an up-close demonstration if you'd like. Kakashi would like nothing more than to teleport either part or all of Shino away into the Kamui dimension, but they were moving much too fast back and forth across the floor of the temple. Under the watchful gaze of that sealed away chakra, Kakashi wasn't going to be slowing down Shino just yet. Plus, would killing him or disrupting the chakra bring this place down? He needed his students safe first before killing his opponent, so he would stall and delay for now. Lightning again arcing off of his fingers, he leans to the right as Shino attempts an attack with a strong left hook. Watching a fist covered in that vile black chakra slide past his face, Kakashi thrusts up with a lightning-covered hand. Chidori. Arg. Screaming as his arm is suddenly engulfed in pain, Shino continues forward and turns a few paces away to regard his adversary with caution. Between them his arm twitches on the floor, blood pooling from the stump where it used to be connected to his shoulder. Panting and clutching his empty socket to slow the blood flow, Shino grins as his life fluid seeps through his fingers. Should have known better. You should have, yes. Watching the larger man drop to a knee, Kakashi adopts a looser stance, might as well give it up, before I really do have to put you down for good. Kakashi frowned as Shino began to laugh darkly as his hand came away from his shoulder, black tendrils shooting out from the wound to collect and return the severed arm to its previous position. Tendrils pulsing and writhing, with a grunt of pain Shino reattaches his lost limb and gives it a few test movements. Well, that was horrifying to watch. You won't see it again, that is the last time you will touch me. Beginning a small chain of seals, Kakashi begins to mold chakra in his chest, fine by me. Kaiten, Grand Fireball. Fire technique expanding and growing as it closed the distance between the two, Kakashi missed Shino bringing up a black wall of energy to block him and protect himself. He does not miss the flurry of dark energy balls racing his way at the end of his attack. Forced back into dodging and evading, the stone floor and walls being blasted and leaving craters of crumbling support pillars with each, Kakashi's stomach lurched as it felt like the floor sagged a bit with the loss of more support structures. Wonderful. Are you beginning to tire, Kakashi? You're starting to get slow. Pressing his advantage, Shino continued his attack. After I kill you, maybe I'll drop your body in the center of your village before I destroy it. Seeing an opening as Kakashi paused, Shino prepared to launch another larger blast of energy. Iwanga, grunting in pain as a sword burst from his chest, Shino looks down at its edge covered in his blood. What? Looking around the large man, Sasuke offered his teacher and squad leader a smirk. Anyone ever tell you that you talk too much? Pulling his sword free in a spray of blood, Sasuke roundhouse kicks Shino away to crash into a wall, rattling and shaking the room as he turns to his sensei. Maybe you're getting too old for this, Kakashi. Grunting and offering his student a frown, Kakashi does have to concede he has a point. Keep it up. I'll leave you to fight him alone if you think you're such hot shit. Can't be worse than fighting Naruto. Nothing is worse than fighting Naruto. Because not only would Naruto blast you silly and beat you into the dirt, he'd joke around and have fun while doing it. He'd humiliate you before sparing you. Talented little shit. They both, however, watched as Shino rose from the rubble that had fallen on him, grunting and dusting away his pants while his jacket and shirt fell away from him in rags. Sasuke frowned a bit at that. I get he's big, but I pierced a lung. He should be down. Kakashi sighed and nodded. He's apparently tapped into that massive chakra cocoon and is wielding dark chakra with no ill effects. It's like fighting a biju. Wonderful. Chuckling, Shino stood at his full height again. Perhaps I underestimated you. I'll need even more to put you down. Sprinting away to stop just below the bright cocoon, Shino connects his chakra even more deeply with the Zero Tails. I offer all of myself in order to crush my foes and bring this world under my heel. Shit. Kakashi prepared to jump in while Sasuke did the same. Bad news. Very. The cocoon breaks, the room shuddering more as the deep red and leech-like form of the Zero Tails surrounds and protects Shino as it faces him directly. Blank no mask staring into the madly grinning face of the man who could no longer tell his mind was fading, the Zero spoke to him. I shall eat your soul for this. So long as the world burns and my foes die, I care not. 5 hair-like tendrils growing from the mask to wave in the air, Zero's mask pulls into a wide smile. So be it. There is light and heat, enough to push Sasuke and Kakashi back from where they were, before as the smoke clears Shino is standing before them alone again. Cackling madly, they take in his bright and completely red eyes as this new entity addresses them. I'm going to eat your souls as well, little ninja. Sasuke sighs as lightning begins to dance along his sword as he makes sure Sakura and Amaru are keeping a safe distance. Why do we always get the crazy chakra monsters? Want my theory? Does it involve Naruto? Not specifically, no. Maybe later then. Appearing between them in an instant, Shino, Zero has both arms outstretched with black energy gathered in its open palms. Don't take this so lightly. Words seeming to be spoken with multiple voices, both men substitute away from the chakra blasts that follow. You'll just die tired. On the attack now, focusing mainly on Kakashi while Sasuke dashes into either attack Shino or support Kakashi, the pair hold off the combined monster with some effort. Sasuke has begun to notice as they fight across the space that as fast as he can make new wounds on the monster, Shino seems to heal them and push on even faster than before. More frustrating for the Leaf duo, he seemed to be shrugging off their attacks like they were nothing. Fireballs, exploding tags, lightning. Nothing beyond their best seemed to be doing anything beyond annoying him or slowing him down momentarily. Which, for Sasuke as he noticed Kakashi's eye shift back into its base form, meant they were on a real time limit now. Any ideas? Kakashi nods as they swap places, Sasuke dashing it to hack and slash his way forward, floor beginning to be painted red with Shino's blood. Go for the head. Rolling his eyes, Sasuke grunts as Shino avoids a Chidori Nagashi from him. Was he getting faster? Certainly felt like it. Behind him Team Neji, Sakura and Amaru watch on. Kana and Jin have both rifles in hand, Jin on a knee while Kana stands just to his left. Both are trying to track Shino and seem to be having a hard time of it while Jin finally grunts. Too much movement. It's too hectic and there's no way we can join in like this. Jin might not be as good of a shot as his other two team members, but even Kana nodded at his assessment of the situation. Should we stand down, leader? Neji shook his head as he stared forward, flexing his fingers tightly. No. Keep pacing them for now. I'm going to jump in. I know these two and should be able to work in and provide some assistance. Grinning, Neji flickered once and was suddenly at Shino's back. Faced with a third opponent, the tide began to shift. Left behind, Sakura searches through her pockets while Amaru watches on. Pulling free their emergency Hiraishin tag, Sakura considers what to do. Was Naruto's training complete? Would he be able to respond? Next to her, Amaru sees the concerned frown pulling at her face and voices a question. What's with the seal? Is it important? Sakura nods as she watches Neji twist and bend under a chakra blast that Sasuke deflects away with his lightning-covered sword. Kakashi launches a brace of kunai with attached exploding notes, which Shino reduces them to ash in another chakra blast. Neji is kept at a distance, Hijuken useless for now until one of them could make an opening. Sakura turns to Amaru. That chakra monster is something normal people aren't meant to deal with. Naruto, however, is almost built for this. Turning back to the fight and considering all of the fighter's abilities, Sakura mulls it over more. I just don't know if we'll need him. Kakashi-sensei should be able to just Kamui his ass away if given some time. Kana speaks up as her rifle continues to track the fight back and forth through the temple chamber. Byakugan eyes hard and active. Your sensei looks worn and chakra is low. Perhaps he's used some massive techniques before we arrived. Doubt creeping in, Sakura watches Kakashi and noticed that Kana is correct. Kakashi is moving a bit slower than normal. Seeing those large chakra blasts melt stone, she considered that he might have been forced to use the chakra-intensive Kamui a few times already to defend himself. The hybrid Shino, Zero, full of rage and hatred as he throws around dark energy and does his level best to kill the Konoha Nin, slips up and overextends as Sasuke aborts a sword slash abruptly and instead slips away to his right. Turning in an attempt to crush the smaller man, he misses the pale-eyed ninja at his back. Several chakra pulses spear into his back before he can turn to address this new threat, but Neji is already jumping away, avoiding a downward axe kick that obliterated the floor where he was once standing. Damned Konoha trash. Neji grinned and gave him the finger. Azushio actually, best get it right. Neji's grin widened as Sasuke finished off his attack, lightning-encased sword piercing the rest of Shino's tenketsu and cutting off his chakra. And that's that. Seeing Shino's body begin to bulge and tear oddly, Sasuke backs away quickly. Don't think so. Seeing the others do the same, they're all gifted with the sight of Shino literally bursting at the seams. Dark chakra washes over them and sends up dust and stone into the air. As the dust clears before them is left not Shino but the several meter long and sinuous body of the Zero Tails. Rapidly grown and taking up more of the space, Zero looks down on them all from its blank mask. I'm going to have to devour you all. Slowly. To make up for this. Deciding within a breath, the Zero Tails dives for Kakashi. It is immediately kicked away by Sasuke while Neji peppers one side of its long body with Juken strikes. Well, this is useless. Neji grunts and dashes away from several hands that form to chase him from the Zero's body. And disgusting. Being chased by his own set of dark-fleshed hands, Sasuke hacks them away and watches as more grow to take their place. If only we were outside. Laughing at them all, Zero gloats while the three men do their best to kill it while ignoring the gunfire from the supporters. You can't kill me. You all who have darkness deep within your hearts, as you fight you feed me. Heal me. It's a cycle you can't hope you outlast. Tail easily swatting away Kakashi while Sasuke cuts a good section of it away in retaliation. Zero focuses on Kakashi and chases him about the room. Look at you. What hides in that heart of yours, Hatake Kakashi? You know my name, creepy. Kakashi easily cut away chasing hands and long boneless arms, but still the mask was there, always a step or two behind him. I know many things. You failures as a teammate. Killing your first love. Your worries about measuring up as a sensei, and now, will this new life last? A dark chuckle flowed on the air and entered Kakashi's mind to cut deeply. In the end, your biggest fear, that core of darkness, wonders if you'll fail in the end. Be the failure you know you are in your heart and soul. Sprouting more hands in an attempt to capture the silver-haired ninja, the no mask stretches into a smile. That darkness is oh so delicious. Why don't you let it out, him? Perhaps it could help you. Protecting his sensei by cutting away the seeking arms and hands, Sasuke grins as Kakashi preps and fires off another grand fireball that crashes into Zero and sends it away to ride in the middle of the room. You've picked up a bad habit. Talking too much. Again batting away Neji, who uses the strike to propel him towards his team. Zero focuses on Sasuke as it renews its attacks, some hands now launching chakra blasts that carve into the walls and ceiling. Oh, the Uchiha Avenger wants to step in, does he? Tell me, boy, how has your life been? Allying yourself with the village that murdered your clan. Chasing an elder brother that tortured you over your slain parents' bodies. And deeper, nestled right inside your very soul. That ball of rage and hate that wants to tear down life itself. Body moving to coil and protect its mask as the Azushio ninja begin using explosive ammunition. Zero continues as Kakashi and Sasuke run from the ever-seeking hands. A life and world that seems to want nothing more than to see the Uchiha fail at every turn. And a jealousy for a friend who seems to have it all, while you have nothing. Inhaling and blowing a fully white grand fireball, Sasuke clears the space around him while he considers the damaged ceiling. You know, yeah, I was all that and then some back then. I did hate life. I did want vengeance. I wanted to hit back at this world that kept taking everything from me. Watching the Zero Tails scream in rage as more of its hands get burned away, Sasuke grins, but I made a friend. A new family. A new life. I have a new light in my heart. I'm fighting against that darkness and you'll find you have no power over me. Not yet, but I wonder what will happen if that light is snuffed out. Faster than before, a chakra blast is charged up and fired towards Sakura and Amaru, who is just behind her. Caught off guard, they nearly miss Sasuke appearing in front of them, eyes spinning wildly into a new form as black fire is breathed into existence to fight back the attack. Black devours black, before the otherworldly fire overtakes it and snuffs out the Zero's efforts. Screaming in rage and pain as some of its flesh burns and melts, Zero thrashes about the floor, crashing into walls and beating against the floor in attempts to put out the inhuman flames. Panting and eyes bleeding, Sasuke cancels the technique with some effort. Woo. Wonder if this is what Naruto used to feel like when he forced his eyes to do crazy shit. Sakura comes up to his side as the black fires fade away, idly checking his eyes before sighing and firming up her resolve. You're being too reckless. Sasuke nods and turns to look at him, smiling, sorry. Can't let my new light get snuffed out so easily now, can I? Shaking her head with a smile and a blush, Sakura pushes the sealed tag into his hand and steps forward. Take a breather, I wanna get a few hits in. Cracking her knuckles, Sakura dashes forward as the enraged Zero turns back towards them with a roar of pain and anger. Winding up, Sakura balls up her right fist and gathers chakra there. Let's do this. Fist colliding with the mask of the beast, there's a tremor that shakes the room before the chakra monster is launched away to crash into the back wall, heavily damaging it and raining rubble down on its damaged but slowly healing body. Looking back towards Sasuke, Sakura gives him a thumbs up. I'm not so fragile, you know. Your light won't fade away so easily. Nodding as Amaru fusses over his condition, Sasuke returns his eyes to their normal Sharingan before holding up the tag and adding chakra to it. Time to call in the big gun, I think. Sakura nods as Kakashi lands next to her in a grunt. Yeah, this thing has more chakra than all of us together. Shaking her hand, she hoped she didn't break anything there. That beast was tough. Seeing the tag begin to pulse, Sasuke sticks it to the ground before jumping back into the fight with Kakashi, the fight a bit more even as the Zero seems to have gotten a bit slower. We'll buy some time. Sasuke calls out to Sakura, who nods and returns to watching over Amaru and Team Neji. In a silent move, she feels new chakra appear. About time. Turning to look at her friend, Sakura smiles while next to her Amaru looks at the newcomer in surprise. You wouldn't believe what we've been putting up with. Naruto nods, taking in the scene and noticing Team Neji providing firing support where they can. Grunting, he turns to Sakura fully. What's happened? In short, Guy wanted to take over the world and is using some ancient chakra spirit to power a flying fortress with enough power to wipe out villages. We've beaten the guy, but now we're fighting the chakra monster that seems to never run out of energy. Could really use some explosive help. Nodding shortly, Naruto saluted Sakura. Okay, got it. I'll tell the boss. And then it was gone, and Sakura sighed. Right, smart to send a clone first, just in case. Amaru's eyebrows raise dramatically as the room shakes around him as the fighting intensifies again. That was a clone. She couldn't even tell. Sakura nods as she watches Sasuke and Kakashi combine a great fireball and a gale palm into a truly monstrous fire technique that burned away hundreds of seeking hands and sending the Zero into more rage-filled screams. He's really good with them. With a thump, new people appear again just over the Horatian tag. This time Sakura's own surprise can't be held back, eyebrows disappearing into her hairline while next to her Amaru blushes a deep scarlet. Wah wah wah. Naruto grins, shirtless and in just black pants and already striding forward with a strong gait. Hey there Sakura, long time no see. On one side of him Karen is adjusting her glasses while dressed in light shorts and a bikini top and jacket. On his other side was Honoka dressed in what looked suspiciously like his jacket all closed up. And finally behind him Hinata looks mostly dressed though her new wardrobe has Sakura reminding herself that the shy and introverted girl was long gone to memory. That however, left Sakura with teasing material as all three women seemed very flush. Oh ho, did we catch the Uzumaki at a bad time? Hinata is the one that answers as Naruto is still continuing towards the fight, saving family always comes first. Here she did blush and some of the shy Hinata poked through, though yes, we were busy when you called. Karen and Honoka race ahead, chakra chains blazing into life to arc out and entwine and tangle the Zero tails with ease. Locking it down to send it crashing into the floor, the fight was done in an instant as the sealing chains did their work suppressing the chakra of the evil spirit. Panting and retreating, Kakashi gave a bored look to Naruto. Chakra monsters are your thing, not mine. Probably because I'm a chakra monster myself. Sasuke grunted, you aren't that bad yet. You have no idea. Naruto put his hands on his hips as he came before the Zero tails and stood before its face while Honoka and Karen kept it locked down from separate sides of the room. So then, you're Zero then. Naruto's head tilts as he takes in the blank no mask, just like the Uzumaki Zero mask. Careful Naruto, this thing isn't like us. I know, I won't play around. Straining, Zero latches onto Naruto's gaze with its own, damned Uzumaki. A plague that continuously meddles in affairs they have no business with. Shrugging, Naruto studies the being before him. It's a talent I have to say. Eyes going from blue to purple as he shifting into the Rinnegan, Naruto began to frown. Now what to do with you? No simple explosion would do here. This thing was more than just a collection of chakra, something more was at work here. Zero began to laugh at the perceived frustration from Naruto. You can't seal me away, my chakra will eat away at anything you attempt to put me in. I have real freedom and I'll have no problem finding a new host in this bloody world of yours. There was no shortage of people in pain here. You aren't wrong. I can't seal you away. At least, not easily. Naruto's eyes begin to glow as the answer comes to him and he snaps his fingers, but thanks to a certain scarecrow, I have a different option. Right fingertip beginning to glow, Naruto begins to draw on the very air around the Zero tails. Killing you is something you deserve, but banishing you to an entirely different dimension is completely possible too. Back to the spirit realm for you I think. Struggling against the glowing chains and body refusing to move, Zero's mask pulls into a frown. This is a grave error you're making. One day I'll return, I'll be back. Humanity will always carry darkness within its heart. And I'll be there, to take it, mold it, make it my own. You and that half and half whelp can't stop me. I will be the one to plunge this world into darkness. No one else. Not that weepy woman and certainly not you. Walking around the beast and drawing seals that burned the air and etched their way into the Zero's flesh, Naruto nodded. Yeah, everyone says they can't be stopped until they are. Listen, why don't you tell me something interesting? Like say, what's the origin of your mask huh? Or who this weepy woman is that you've mentioned. I'm very interested in that. Foolish whelp. Do you think yourself above darkness as well? Oh I can feel it, taste it. So vile, so cruel. What you carry with you could feed me for centuries. You are no more enlightened than the next murderer who calls themselves a ninja. Naruto nods again, finishing his walk around the chakra being and drawing his last seal, joining the dozens of others that now floated around the beast like a halo, maybe. Or maybe your perception is just all wrong. Naruto snaps his fingers, the seals beginning to glow yellow as a pillar of light burning through the ceiling in a perfect circle and seems to melt the very flesh of Zero, eliciting rage-filled screams from it. Both Karen and Honoka release their chains then and Naruto give him the finger, come back as many times as you want. Someone like me will always be here to put you in your place. One day Uzumaki. In this world or the next. I vow I'll find and devour your very soul. Body beginning to melt and fade, its rage increases as Naruto only gives it a jaunty wave. Your fate was sealed the moment you encroached on, cut off mid-word, the seal completed its work and the Zero Tails was gone, spirited away to another plane of existence while Naruto sighed and turned back to everyone gathered. So, what did I miss? Naruto gave them a cheeky grin as Hinata came forward to pinch him in the arm. Ow. What? Read the room. Said room began to shake and rumble violently as Neji and his team rejoined everyone. Neji himself bowed lightly to Naruto. In short, we're thousands of feet in the sky and you just removed this fortress's power supply. Everyone suddenly began to feel a sense of vertigo before weightlessness began to settle in. Armaru and Sakura even began to float off of the floor before Sasuke caught them. And were falling. Making enough clones for everyone, Naruto nodded and smiled brightly. Well, guess that means no scavenging ancient flying city technology for me then. Time to go. Everyone flashes away, missing a single clone that had been given special orders. Placing Hiraishin tags everywhere it can as the city falls from the sky, Naruto was actually interested in the city itself. If some of it did survive the fall, he'd back. B. Collapsed in a heap on an island very far away, Naruto turns to address everyone as they adjust to the sudden bright sunlight and sandy beach they now found themselves on. Welcome everyone to Izushio, specifically the Yuki district. Those that hadn't been here before looked around in some amazement at the clean beach and ocean waves. In the distance they could just make out Izushio's capital city, though that was hard with the misty waters. Sakura sighs and relaxes on the sand for a moment while Sasuke helps Armaru up from where she fell. Geez Naruto, whatever luck you have that you passed on to us, you can have it back. Sasuke chuckles and nods while as he turns away from the blushing Armaru. I feel like normal ninja don't fight this many once-in-a-lifetime opponents. You've jinxed us. Jinxed nothing. The world just recognizes that we're awesome. Awesome. You. Those girls of yours have been hyping you up too much. I'll need to settle in here and check your ego a bit. Sasuke grinned as Naruto easily rose to the challenge. Says the emo who was too cool to be normal. What's with the white jacket now? Trying to be me. More like the better version. Who ends up saving princesses all the time again. Naruto looks at the wide-eyed Uzumaki behind Sasuke. I think that's you this time. Sucking his teeth, Sasuke walked into that one. Still your fault. What? How? Sakura sighed and stood as the boys bickered back and forth. Easily grabbing both by the ears as everyone watches on, she smashed both of their heads together. Will you two quit it? We haven't been together in ages and you pick a fight now. Naruto and Sasuke rubbed their heads while Sakura watched on before grinning at each other. Naruto fist bumping his brother with ease. Still got it. Sasuke nods. Yup. As easy as ever. Sakura looked between them as they grinned at her, before finally, something in her mind clicked. Wait a minute. All those fights in the past, the posturing, the egos. Oh, I think she's just figured it out. Took her long enough. And I thought she was the smart one of Team 7. Well, it certainly wasn't you. Remind me, who figured out how to invert a storage seal and turn it into a bomb again? Explosions will be the death of you. More likely my wives, not the explosions. A vein pulsing in her forward as she held up a first, Sakura felt her chakra soar. You've been fucking with me this whole time. This whole time. I'll bash your heads in. Run. Naruto was already sprinting away, though Sasuke tripped him up as he passed him. Better you than me. Naruto was soon just behind him while Sakura chased after them. You ass. That's your wife, not mine. You wanna get punched by her? Fuck you. Fuck you. I'll kill you both and settle the argument. Kicking up dust and sand, Sakura gave chase to the laughing pair. Watching the team bond and continue on, Kakashi shook his head slowly and seemed to sag in on himself as he lowered his Hitai 8 to cover his eye. I'm definitely getting too old for this. Feeling the ground shake as Sakura pounds the sand with a chakra-covered fist, Hinata smiled and shook her head as she turned to Neji and his team. I know your team has done 2 missions now back to back. There's a ferry boat not far away that we used to come here. You should use that and return to the main island to report and take some time off. Neji nods and bows to her along with his team as Honoka and Karen introduce themselves and chat with a still wide-eyed Amaru. We will take you up on that offer, Lady Uzumaki. Hinata sighs and gives Neji a chastising look. We've been over this, cousin. We have, Lady Uzumaki. I'm sure we'll go over it again as well another time. With another bow, the team turns to leave. It will be good to have some time off, I think. Kana is instantly at his side. I could really use a back rub when we get home. Jin sighs, more like a cold shower. Say that again, ya bastard. How can a member of that prim and proper clan talk like an old farmer like you do? It's jarring. I'll jar that head of yours. Neji gives his cousin a tired wave before the team is gone in search of the ferry boat. It was going to be a long ride home more than likely. Not far away and having collapsed on the sand together, the three subordinates of Team 7 stared out at the sea and watched the waves crash into shore while the others walked to catch up with them. Sakura leans in to lay on Naruto's shoulder while Sasuke punches him lightly in the arm. We've got a confession to make. Sasuke's voice interrupts the peace. Naruto is quick as well. Sakura's pregnant and you're moving to Azushio so we can properly merge the clans. Sakura wanted to punch him, but at the moment she really couldn't muster up the energy. Well, you got one of those right. Naruto again was quick with it. Great. So I'm thinking if it's a boy you'll name him after me, of course, because I'm so awesome. But a girl, maybe pick from one of the girls. Oh, or maybe Naomi, that's pretty right. He accepting the twin slaps to the back of his head with grace. Wrong guess. Sasuke nods, yup. Naomi, huh? That wasn't a bad name. Think you can transport the Uchiha compound all in one piece. Naruto nods, no sweat, just need a team of clones and you to make sure I don't miss anything. Sasuke nods, got it. Not far from them Amaru is getting to know the Uzumaki, something close to or overtaking her as she watches these strong women talk about what they have done and the city they've rebuilt. It's amazing. You're all so powerful, you took down the chakra monster with such ease. Karen shrugs as Honoka smiles and takes a pile of string and fabric from Hinata with a grateful smile. I'd like to say we're the strongest, but that's actually Naruto. He's the one that goes toe to toe with Biju and Kage on the regular. Karen watches as Amaru's gaze turns to Team 7 to take in the group, though her eyes trail not on Naruto, but the darker-haired male instead. Hinata catches onto that while Honoka disappears to go change back into her swimsuit. They are very close. Team 7 that is. Seeing she had Amaru's attention, the Uzumaki by marriage smiled softly. One of Naruto's goals is to save all the Uzumaki and bring them all home. But, I'm sure considering the circumstances an exception or two could be made. Looking away in embarrassment at being caught, Amaru shakes her head. I didn't say anything about that. Just some food for thought. Hinata smiled as another group was spotted walking down the beach towards them. Ah, the Yuki clan. Urging his friends to stand, Naruto grins and greets Hana as they come within speaking distance. Hey there Hana, sorry for rushing off like that. Had an emergency to deal with. Hana and her group of 6 clan members all pause and bow deeply to the young lord. Fret not, my lord. It gave us time to prepare. Hana stood up straight as she took in the small group. Your visit was cut a bit short, but now your group seems a bit worn out. We would like to offer lodgings for you and yours for the next few days. Call it a test run for when we open our resort for the rest of Azushio. Naruto turns back to the others, not seeing any disagreements there before turning back to Hana and her group. Sounds like a great idea to me. Let's do it. Some downtime masked as a clan inspection wouldn't be so bad. He'd have to make some clones later to grab the other girls so they could join in. He'd catch some real hell if he enjoyed a hot spring without them. Kakashi watches his students with a smile as they begin to walk and follow the Yuki clan up and into the hills through a forested area of the island. For the first time in a long while, his family was whole again. Well, it would be if he could convince Naruto to grab Shizune later. In Azushio itself, Ino and Tayuya are visiting with Yugito. Nestled happily in a bright and open hotel room, the older woman was placing a tray of tea and snacks on a table between 2 soft-looking couches and offering them to the visiting pair before sitting on the empty plush couch opposite them. Dressed much as before in blue robes and flowing pants, Yugito radiated an aura of comfort and peace. I have to thank you again for the increased freedom here in this hotel room. It has given me some enjoyable time to myself to just reflect and think on my life. And the view is something of a wonder. Looking over to a corner which held a painting easel with now several paintings scattered around it and then to a pillow chair surrounded by books next to a bay window, the girls could tell that Yugito had thought of not much else besides relaxation. It has been freeing in a way I can't describe. Ino was easily caught up in the mood, smiling happily with Yugito. I'm glad to see you're settling in. But I have to ask, what's next for you as things progress? Seeming to think it over, Yugito finally shrugs. I don't know honestly. I don't want to fight anymore. With all this time away from my village and availability to just sit and think, I've decided that at the least I want to be at peace. Sure, being cooped up isn't all that fun. But I'm free. Snorting at that, Tayuya looks around the room a bit more. Sure, the beige walls full of artwork and clean counters and furniture was nice, but there were still ninja guards just outside the door, and there was still a suppression and locating seal on the woman. A hotel room isn't very free in the end. A gilded prison is still a prison. Well, yes, of course you're right. Yugito bows her head in Tayuya's direction, but there are worse ways to be locked away, don't you agree? Tayuya does agree, there are worse ways to be locked up. Much worse. You've taken to art with some real energy, didn't take you for the type. Yugito shrugs, I didn't either. But I'm searching for something. So I'm trying a little of everything. As the two women talk back and forth, Ino watches and takes in everything she can about Yugito. The way she lounged comfortably, the expressions playing across her face, the general vibe of the room around them. Here was a kunoichi who honestly looked and felt like she was entirely tired of that life. Someone who wanted something different. Something new. It was that feeling that settled a decision in Ino's mind. You know, interrupting the pair and gaining their attention, Ino continues. I don't think she's a flight risk. So I'd like to offer her a choice. Quote. Tayuya leans back on their couch, nodding and motioning towards Yugito with a hand. Well, on you then. Right. So until the situation with Chumo is resolved, we obviously can't let you leave Azu just yet. But, under guard, we can let you have free roam of the city, I think. Maybe too, we can set you up with an apartment of your own. Even if it's temporary, sometimes it's nice to be able to have your own space. Yugito sits up straight while her hands fidget together. A place of my own here, Tayuya leans over to Ino. You're sure this is wise? Yup. Ino relaxes back into the shorter couch, as she waves a hand to a window overlooking the city. As far as surveillance goes, this is probably the best place for her to be. You know that. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes Tayuya had to take the step back and remind herself that seals were a scary thing. The border monitoring staff did a lot more than just watch their borders after all. Yugito wasn't just sitting quietly in thought. In her mind, she and the Matatabi were thinking it over together. To which, the Biju made her position very clear. I don't care where we are so long as I get my fix. And warm naps. And good food. Though I guess some time to go out and stretch would be nice. Seeing the sights would be good as well and. Okay, I get it. Yugito sighed and gave in to the Biju. Take the deal and go from there then. Yes, absolutely. Don't forget. You owe me. Yes, I understand. I won't forget. And only answer once, that's rude. Yes, I understand. Yugito looked up and saw that she instantly had Ino's and Tayuya's attention. Yes, I believe I could agree to this. Some time to make a space for myself would be enjoyable. Yugito does hold up a single fingers. I do, however, want to make sure of one thing. I want to live as a civilian, not as a ninja. I really am done with the fighting. Tayuya nods first. That's a promise. Azu will not require you to fight against Chumo or anyone else. She holds out a hand, which Yugito takes and shakes firmly. Then we have a deal. Hearing a yell of rage in her mind, Yugito sighs and offers them a lopsided grin, and, please don't forget my Biju's own request. Ignoring the groan from Tayuya, Ino nods though her smile is a little strained. We haven't forgotten. We'll make sure it happens. Seeing things were taken care of, Ino and Tayuya stand and prepare to leave. We'll make sure someone comes by later to help you pack and move to a new apartment. Shouldn't be more than a few hours, so best to start preparing yourself. Yugito stands and bows deeply to them. I will prepare myself accordingly. Waving as the pair leave through the front door, Yugito looks around to her various paintings. Guess I have some work to do. Outside of her door and making their way via an elevator down to the ground floor, Ino and Tayuya continue to chat. Well, that takes care of Yugito for now. It's up to her from here on whether she integrates with Azushio or not. Tayuya nods as she leans against the elevator wall. Yeah, is it weird that I understand where she's coming from? Ino shakes her head. Nah. It's a place that one day all of us are supposed to reach. Ino motions to the various equipment they both wore, from the weapons and scrolls to their armor and forehead protectors. This is a bloody and stressful life. Sooner or later, we all crack. Ino motioned upwards as the doors opened and they stepped out. Some break. Tayuya nods while trying not to think of her own past, focusing instead on her future, including the little life growing inside of her. I'd rather not get so far gone that I break. I still have some things to do, but one day, I could see an end to the fighting. Ino nods as they rejoin the afternoon crowds. That's what we all want. It's what we've built this city and this nation around. For a time where one day we can enjoy real peace. Naruto's goal had slowly become all of their mindset. Seeking peace. One day at a time. Now though, we have to deal with Sai and Kabuto. And that freak hidden. Tayuya groans as they begin to weave through traffic towards the tower. They could hop on a trolley that was ambling through the center of the road that way, but walking felt nice. Sai wants to return to Konoha, doesn't he? Yes. It's the only home he knows. And my professional opinion, that's very important. He's trying to rebuild himself and having something familiar to latch onto is invaluable. Tayuya smiles and waves at a group of children riding along on another giant crab following along the trolley tracks. That's fine. With Danzo dead, Sai isn't a threat to anyone anymore. Especially us. Maybe he can learn how to be a normal person one day. Here's hoping. Ino ticks that subject off in her head with a relieved sigh. He'll get in touch with the Konoha team and have him returned then. No point wasting one of ours for that. Maybe we can just call Tsunade directly. Good old mega tits. Let Naruto deal with her. Tayuya had a low opinion of all of the Sannin, even if of the three she was the most tolerable. Speaking of Naruto and work, I need to have a word with him about Kabuto. Still want to kill him. Yes. Quickly. Completely. No trace left. Tayuya didn't care that Kabuto seemed content to just sit and wait in his cell calmly. That snake was always thinking, planning something. It would lead to something dangerous for sure. Ino nudges her friend and fellow wife in the shoulder. Think you might be a little paranoid because of your history with anything related to Orochimaru. Maybe. Doesn't change the fact that even caged up that man is dangerous. Tayuya sees Ino nod and they both turn to focus on returning to the tower. They still had work to do today. Resting somewhere in the wilderness between the land of claw and the land of fire, Jugo and his girls have set up camp as evening approached. Their last mission finally resolved, diplomatically for once with no violence, they were happy to soon be home and back with their friends. Having made a fire while Jugo was busying about putting up the shared tent, Kin was returning from setting up traps while Sasum went about making food in a cook pot over the fire. Kin was grinning as she saw the orange-haired girl bent over the fire with her hair tied back and out of the way. Looking very domestic there, Sasum. You wanna eat? You're the oh-so-wonderful and talented Sasum-sama. That's what I thought. Both girls shared a giggle as they settled in to relax and wait for food to be finished. This has been nice. No fighting, time to just ourselves. Peaceful even. So far removed from the life they had used to live. Clawing and fighting for the rejuvenation of their clan. All under that snake Orochimaru. Kin nods. It has been nice. Lots of time to think on things. Plan. Sasum sends her a smirk as they both look towards Jugo before looking at each other. Going your sister's route. Thinking of babies and diapers. Chuckling and swatting her friend, Kin shakes her head. No, well, not yet anyway. I love what we're doing now. Cleaning up bandits and bounties. Traveling the world and seeing the sights. I've seen so much since joining up under Naruto's banner that this life. I shouldn't have it. I should have died. Sasum leaned gently into the girl who suddenly went quiet. But you didn't and you're here now. Quietly she hugged her friend to her, and I certainly wouldn't have it any other way. Kin returns the hug. I know. Neither would I. One day, we'll have to do something, To thank Naruto and his family. Sasuke hooked a thumb towards where Jugo was finishing up the tent. Well, he does really plan on being the Uzumaki family retainer. Guess we're in for the long haul here. Guess so. Smiling and embracing the peaceful atmosphere around them, Kin gave thanks for knucklehead blondes with a love for explosives. Walking over to the pair now that their talk seemed to be done, the larger Jugo sat down on the opposite side of the fire. We have to remember to ask Lord Naruto about Jiraiya-sama when we return. He needs to travel to the land of Claw to settle the dispute. Kin nods. We won't forget. Say, think we should hunt down a bounty or two on our way back. There's a lot of open country between here and home. Wasn't there some obscure clan out and about in this area? The Chushigumo, if she remembered correctly. Another clan like her own that had been so great once upon a time. The Chushigumo clan might be in the area. Sasuke frowns at that. What does the Chushigumo have to do with hunting bounties? Well, from what I remember, the Chushigumo are rumored to have a technique that's very valuable to certain people. Kin can already see the disapproving looks on Jugo's and Sasuke's faces. Just a thought. Jugo shakes his head. That doesn't sound like the type of mission Lord Naruto would be okay with. Unless that clan is full of assholes. Sasuke snorted. It's so weird to hear you curse. Blame Lord Naruto. Kin nods as that thought had entered her mind as soon as she suggested it. I know. Just thinking out loud, I guess. Not far off, one of her bells rings. Huh. Funny that. Sasuke and Jugo are instantly on alert, the taller male already feeling out with his senses. What's the word, Jugo? Not hostile, no killer intent. Sasuke shrugs, hand straying to the scroll holding her weapon, doesn't mean it's not a threat. Kin shrugs, hand bell already in hand, why don't we wait and see, huh? While her bells were tuned specifically to a frequency only she was adept at picking up, it wasn't a perfect system. But it was better than accidentally killing some innocent civilian who wandered their way. Kin leaned back and stretched, easily eyeing the blonde girl who stumbled through the bushes and froze at the sight of them. Well, hello, got lost tonight. Doing her best not to be threatening, Kin knew most people didn't consider a handbell as a weapon. Well, until their organs ruptured at least. Well, hello. The girl was on the shorter side, dressed in a purple sleeveless top and black athletic shorts. Ninja sandals with shin guards completed her look, but currently no visible weapons that they could see. I don't mean to intrude. Sasuke sighed, picking up the slack for the wary Kin and the quiet Jugo. No worries. Wanna join us? You look a little worn out. And she did, like she had been up for a few days at the least. We've got plenty here, and we don't mind swapping stories if you're looking for some friends right now. Caught off guard and not wanting to pass up a chance to relax in her search, the girl bows to them. Thank you. I'll take that offer. I'm Hotaru. The now named Hotaru stepped further into the firelight. I was searching for my master and got a little lost. Watching Hotaru sit down between them, Sasuke nods slowly as she comes forward to continue stirring the pot. Well, sad to say, we haven't seen anyone else besides you out here today. Which was true, not even a faint whiff of chakra either. Mood falling at that news, Hotaru considered what to do from here. It had taken so long to convince Utakata to train her and take her seriously. But finally she had done so. But now, when he promised to train her properly, he vanished. I don't know what to do. Wanna talk about it? It was Kin who leaned forward, elbows on her knees and hands holding her cheeks. Sometimes that helps. Having nowhere else to go and feeling like, for the moment, she could trust these strangers if it meant there might be a chance for some help, Hotaru decides to give some information while she thinks up a plan. My sensei, he was a bit of a loner, really quiet, honestly didn't even want to be my sensei at first at all. But still, he was kind to me. He treated me well and taught me things so I could survive on my own. He saved me. And after a lot of things happened, he finally agreed to take me on as a student. Here she had to pause to take a deep steadying breath. We were traveling, and some guys in black robes found us. Wanted to speak to him and only him, and he seemed to recognize them. So he asked me to wait in a certain place, and he would return to me. He didn't seem worried, or threatened at all. But now, it's been a full day and I'm starting to worry. Jugo and the others all looked at each other. Black robes, huh? Jugo now focused on Hotaru, black cloaks with red clouds. Seeing her nod, Jugo frowned at that. Was her teacher a Jinchuriki then? What else would Akatsuki need with her sensei, unless they were looking for new recruits? Your sensei, he wasn't a wanted man, was he? A nuke nin? Affronted at the thought, Hotaru frowned and shook her head quickly. No. Never. He was from Kiri, but he had met up with some hunter nin and they mentioned because of a new alliance they had that he was free to do as he pleased for now. So I don't know why anyone would want him. Jugo has an idea already. That Kiri would let him go because of an alliance, that must mean their partnership with Azu. Only someone of Jinchuriki status would get that kind of pass off nowadays. It's been a day, you said. Yes. Hotaru could see that the large orange-haired man knew something. What is it? What do you know? Is my sensei in danger? Jugo turns to Kin and Sasum. We need to return to Azu, quickly. Something tells me this is information we need to pass along. Azu. Azushio. Are you really Azushio ninja? Hotaru could see all of the others tense up and she quickly waves empty hands in front of herself. No threat here. I've heard stories is all. A cage that could level villages and see through people's lies. Several elite teams capable of taking on cage-level ninja all on their own. A city that was already on par with most of the major nations. It all sounded so amazing. If you are, I'd like to make a request. Kin raises an eyebrow as the others shrug about it, and eventually she nods to Jugo. You're the boss, your call. Would Naruto take a request like this? Some worried woman stressed about a sensei that might or might not be a fellow Jinchuriki. Sighing as Jugo knew that Naruto absolutely would, he nods to the girl slowly. If we can help, we will. On a knee and kneeling before them quickly, Hotaru bows her head to them. Help my sensei. Track him down and bring him back to me. If you do, if he's safe and alive, my clan will pledge its loyalty to Azushio. It might be a little hard to convince them to do so, but for Utakata, she would make it happen. And, what clan is that? The Chushigumo. Jugo turns to Kin who rubs the back of her head and shrugs. Some luck wasn't it? Kin does point a finger at him. We did just finish our mission, and we do have some spare time. Though, we might want to at least call in some backup. We can take a look at this list, gather information. We don't know who is involved, but, if it looks like a situation Lord Naruto needs to address himself, then we call him. Sasum sighed. This is Akatsuki we're talking about. Every one of their members is some scary famous nuke nin. Kin grinned and rung her bell once, filling their area with a calming but firm tone. We aren't pushovers ourselves anymore. Hotaru looks up at that from her position on the ground, a hopeful look on her face. Does that mean you'll take the mission? Jugo sighed again but answers her slowly. I have to warn you. These Akatsuki members are all powerful ninja in a class all their own. There's a chance your sensei is already dead. Shaking her head and standing, Hotaru finally has a smile on her face as hope fills her. No way. I'd know if my sensei was gone. He's super strong, stronger than anyone that I know by a lot. All three members of Riptide Team 1 look at each other before quickly getting into their food. Kin grinning and offering the girl a bowl of their stew. Better eat up. It's time for Riptide to move. She didn't have the heart to tell this girl that it didn't matter how strong a ninja was if their opponent was purpose-picked to counter them, but it was best to keep her hopes up. Lord Naruto would do the same. Dumping the beaten body of Utakata on the ground, Atachi and Kisame settle into wait within a quiet and empty Akatsuki base well within the wilds of the Land of Fire. With less members around, it would be a while before they would start extracting and sealing away the Six Tails, but at least they had him now. Plus they got to relax and wait in some comfort without that weirdo Zetsu poking around. He wasn't that much of a fight though. I had high hopes with him being a Kiri ninja and all. Grumbling at the perceived weakness of the Six Tails container, Kisame nudged him with a foot, getting a groan out of the man. I couldn't even get warmed up to shave off some flesh. Sighing and looking around the main ceiling cavern they found themselves in, Atachi shakes his head as he finally spies the entrance to the hallway that would lead to the living quarters and holding cells. Need I remind you this isn't about you getting a good fight in. We capture tailed beasts and seal them away. The only reason I'm with Akatsuki is to get into crazy fights with super strong opponents. I don't give a damn about world peace or whatever leader wants. Kisame finally sat on a nearby rock, putting his feet up on the downed Utakata's back. Hey, you think that blonde brat has gotten any better with his weapon? Maybe it's time for a rematch. Turning away to hide a grin, Atachi fakes ignorance, who knows? You might have a surprise waiting for you. Not far from them in the middle of the space, a hologram appears. The ghostly visage of Conan forms, quietly waiting and taking them in as they focus on her. You have an update for us. Atachi nods, we've captured the Rokubi. Conan looks down and spies the downed ninja, nodding with approval. Good. For now lock him up and place seals on him. Until Toby returns with the Sanbi we are to wait. Pick one of you to stay with him at that hideout in the meantime. The other will have new orders. Kisum jumps on that right away, sounds like a chance for action. No way am I staying here. Come on Atachi, have a heart, let me go have some fun. Rolling his eyes though he did relax, Atachi shrugs, fine. I'll stay and watch over the Rokubi. Conan makes a note on a clipboard and turns to Kisum, head towards Iwa. The Five Tails has already returned to his village, but the container of the Four Tails has not. Track him down and bring him in. Face set into a wide grin and showing off his shark-like teeth, Kisum is already standing and stretching. I wonder if that old man will put up a decent fight. I feel like I've been stagnant for ages. I caution you, Kisum. Remember that his power is over lava and fire. You aren't the best matchup for that. Smirk still in place and patting Samehada on his back, Kisum was still full of confidence. I have other skills to fall back on besides my chakra and ninjutsu. They don't call me the human Biju for nothing. Turning to leave through the entrance, Kisum waves over his shoulder, don't get too lonely without me Atachi. I'll be back before you know it. HN. Watching his partner go, Atachi takes a moment before turning back to Conan, will there be anything else? Conan looks at him completely now, giving him a once-over before relaxing just a tad, are you well? Oh, so she was that observant was she? Atachi forgot that sometimes, well enough. I think my time might be coming up soon. A pity. Conan nods as she was sincere about it. It was a shame such a young and talented ninja like Atachi would eventually succumb to of all things a disease. If only you could return to your village, I'm sure that cage of yours could heal you. Perhaps, but I think, this is my proper fate in the end. No use fighting it. So you say. Wanting to say more but refusing to, Conan finally nods to him as her hologram begins to fade, live well, Atachi Uchiha. And then she was gone, leaving Atachi alone to finally sink to the floor and sit comfortably while he waited and decided what to do. Might as well get the Jinchuriki locked up and suppressed. Idly he wondered what his little brother was up to. That foolish boy, was there any hope for their clan? Were the hopes he placed on his younger brother worth the effort? That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.